Karibuni sana to another edition of Sinema Corner. Today we are privileged to have with us someone. Actually today I'll be very disciplined. Leo sitapiga makelele sana because today I'm talking to my teacher.
Very important.
Today I'm talking to my teacher. She wears so many hats. She wears so many hats because she is a champion of theatre. First PhD in theatre, and she is also a filmmaker. She does makeup, she does costume. Sijui ni nini exactly kwa art yenye afanyangi. I think one of the things I've not seen from her is a painting, but probably one of these fine days.
You never know.
So she is an entrepreneur, she is a filmmaker and currently nominated 12 times for her debut film, a directorial film, which is an amazing film about a lot of things that we will talk about today. So, karibu sana.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Yes, I think I will let you introduce yourself because you are the OG.
My name is Dr. Zippy Okoth. However, the industry knows me as Dr. Zippy Okoth. I am first performing artist. I started with singing and acting, and then this is what I've studied too, from bachelor's to PhD. And so now I call myself a filmmaker and a practicing academia. I teach at the university, at Kenyatta University. And I am a filmmaker, a producer, a theater producer and director. I used to sing some time back. And I think the only thing I don't know how to do in terms of creative works, I don't think I can call myself a cinematographer, but I can shoot you. Yeah, editing, I started learning how to edit due to Corona, but still I can just cut. I can't edit professionally, but that's me. I am an artist.
Well, I think for those who have met Zippy before, she is the happiest soul. She is the happiest soul that you will ever meet. So today I want us to focus on film, because that's you are many things, but let's talk about film today. So ulipatana wapi na filamu?
There was a time I used to say theater is the practice. Film is a way to preserve the practice. But then with time, things have changed because of technology. We are no longer doing the analog style like we were taught when technology was analog. Things were just starting to turn to digital. And so things have changed with the digital era where it's easier to make films. It's actually even more affordable to make films. But for me, film is a way of telling our stories and helping it reach to the bigger global audience. And so when I look at film, I look at how can my work reach the world? How can people hear? There's this lady in Kenya called Zippy, and this is her story. How can I tell story of other Kenyans? How can I tell story of other people? Because sometimes, not sometimes, I think almost all the time, all the stories that I do, whether it's theater or film, are inspired by real stories. So for me, it's about telling our stories to the world, and that's what film is to us. Yeah.
So you have in your film, as you say, you're telling stories that are inspired by reality.
Yes.
So where do you put yourself? Do you put yourself as a concept creator, a writer? Now I know you directed this particular one.
Yeah.
But where exactly do you put yourself and in the whole assembly system of film, and how do you find that space, considering now that you've practiced other things before in a more profound manner?
I am a director and producer, and I think most great film directors started off at the theater space. Even if you look at Hollywood, you'll find that the greatest and the best of the film directors started off in Broadway. Generally, I also write, even film Midlife Crisis, I co-wrote it with Gina King, but first I create. Like even like when I meet Jean, I tell her, these are my characters, this is my story from beginning to end. So she put the words, what Indian filmmakers call lyrical writer. So that's what now Jean does. She puts words into my story, then together we try to, you know, make it complete. And so, yeah, when it comes to film, yes.
So you mentioned something, that filmmaking is has become more affordable.
Yes.
And to some people, that's a very tricky space, because when you think about the kind of quality,
yes,
for example, that is required even by the broadcasters, and you know, if you want to even put it up on the cinema, you need certain standard benchmarks.
yes.
And I dare say that you achieved achieved all those in your film. So. How do you fund, how are you able to fund this film?
First and foremost, my own savings. I saved for 2 years for this film. I started thinking about this film in 2018. And I talked to a number of people who told me the approximate budget that I would need to pay everyone. I then decided to collaborate with other people in the industry. I collaborated with Rio Films because they have a good camera. I needed the best of quality there, so we used their red helium. And I also collaborated with Cafe Luna Pictures because for post-production, studio editing, color grading and stuff. Because to get this kind of quality, it would have costed me much, much, much more. But then if you look at best practice all over the world, when Hollywood movies start, if you're watching it, you'll see so in collaboration with, you'll see like 5 companies. But then here, we want to kill ourselves with like, it is me and me and me and me. You get what I mean? So it becomes very, very, very expensive. And so for me, I chose to go the collaboration way. Yes, I had some funds which were saved because you still need money for food, for catering, to pay people, logistics, set and stuff, all those logistics. But at least I was cushioned when it comes to at least the camera and post-production, because post-production is heavy. It's crazy. We were shooting on 8K and 6K. So that right now, the final work, right now we can be able to put it on 4K, the full edit. Because if you shoot on 4K, trust me, there's no way you can export the final edit on the same 4K. Things change during editing. Yeah, so with all that quality, collaboration is the way to go. Yeah, collaboration is the way to go. And the beauty about collaboration is you share the profits just like you can share the losses. People don't look at that.
So that's the part I want us to go, because definitely, if you were to quantify your budget, it's X amount of money.
If I was to quantify the budget, including everything without collaboration, then the movie costs around 7 million.
7 million?
Yes.
Okay. So definitely 7 million was spent either in real cash or in whatever.
Or in kind,
or
everything,
in kind, exactly.
Yes.
So now, how, as a producer, how do you then recoup this cash back? Is Kenya ripe for, you know, like getting back the, you know, the return to investment?
There are 2 ways. There are 2 strategies. But my strategy is different. What I'm looking at, you can have your film and try to sell it to the highest bid, and hopefully they can buy it at 7M. You get what I mean, if it's in this situation. However, I look at it differently. If I can make a film every day, and not every day, sorry, if I can make a film every year, then from each film, at the end of 2 years or so, I can be able to get whether it is a 1 million profit, you get it. Then in 10 years, I will have made profit from every film. What happens is, if you make one film and you want to spend 5 years trying to sell this one film, it will be very, very frustrating even to get the money back. But if you make more, it's like a dressmaker, you get it. You buy a long fabric, and you keep creating more clothes. You get what I mean?
Yes.
But if you just create one and say this is a unique art, and you want to sell it the whole year, then you won't get as much. So you buy more fabric, you sell more clothes, and then you say at the end of the year, from each cloth maybe I just got 50 shillings, but at the end of the year I've gotten 1,000. And so for me, that's the strategy I'm looking at in terms of business. The challenge, people keep saying it, how will I be sure that I make this film better than the last one? That should not be a worry. No film will be the same. This day it will be better, next day it might not be as best as the other one, but what matters is keep producing. We have to keep doing it because consistency in production. That's the only way to grow the industry, but also as an entrepreneur to grow yourself, because the audience only cares about the story.
Yes. Okay, so there's this disconnect that we have in our industry between ourselves and the audience, and this disconnect is created by they do not know where to get our films. Okay, right now we have some platforms like My Movies Africa, John Strano, and then we have
Movie Central.
Movie Central. There's
View Sasa.
Yeah. There's even YouTube. There's even YouTube, and now there are other opportunities that are opening up in Showmax, Netflix, and even on TV. So, in terms of distribution, or even selling DVDs.
Yes.
In terms of distribution, how are you looking at this now that you have looked ahead and you're thinking about, you have bought a roll of clothes?
I've bought a roll of clothes. I have to create every year.
Yes.
It's the only way.
Now you have planned the creation.
Yeah.
How are these consumers that we are talking to today, how are they going to find your film? How are they going to consume your film so that they can look forward to the next film?
There are different strategies that we're looking at, especially when you talk about the VOD platforms that you've talked about. That one only reaches the city audience. Then we have now the cinemas. Now we have got Rupa Cinema in Eldoret. We have one in Kisumu. We have one in Mombasa. Those are also, they're not like big cities, but at least they are big towns that the audience can be able to get our works. After the premiere, we are now screening in all the cinemas in the country. Currently, in Nairobi, we are screening in 3 cinemas, Mombasa, Kisumu, Eldoret. I think we are starting next week. For us, it's about reaching the larger audience. However, it's still a challenge. Right now, my greatest challenge as a producer is now reaching the people in my home area where there are no cinemas. Yeah, there are 2 things. How can I work with pirates? Trust me, I think that's what I'm looking for. It's not about how can I distribute without them. How can I work with them? Because this is about somebody's source of income. That's their source of income. This is my source of income. How can we work so that we all reach that audience down there? Because they have the audience. I have the content. The problem is they are too scared to have my work when I go because they don't know whether I am trapping them to be arrested. I am also too scared that if they get my work without my authority, they might just pirate it so much. You get it?
Yes, they eat more than the owner.
They'll eat more than me. So I'm looking for a way where we can be able to connect and do something together. However, I feel that the government is blocking, how do I put it? It's blocking a very great revenue by not finding a mechanism where we can have these kiosk people to pay a small license and be able to dab these things in the local countryside. Because if we keep arresting them that's piracy, copyright issues, these are the grassroots distributors.
But these same people, I think they get licenses even from MCSK for public performance, and from KFCB, and they have stickers for rating and all that, which means they are actually, because they are all over Nairobi, which means they are operating legally. So how can I don't know if someone can find like the mother termite of
Exactly, the
mother
person who
termite.
dabs all these
Yes.
and gives them to sell. That's the person we need.
So from because you're an intellectual and you're speaking very good English, how how can that be made possible? How can, for example, even the government organs and even filmmakers come together and work with these well, respectfully, these aggregators.
Aggregators.
We will not call them pirates for now. These aggregators, how can the film industry be able to work with them? Because filmmakers are still working with DVDs in their pockets or movies in their hard disks. How can they be able to work with these people and get income back?
You know, the story of these guys, I always compare it to the Mirror saga. You get what I mean? Like we say, Mirror is not good for us, and then we also try to sell Mirror. You get it? So we keep making those who are selling it at a certain level feel like they are criminals, and yet every day we have got those pro box racing on Thika Road from Meru, taking it where? It's getting even exported. Now we have got Mirror juice, Mirror, you know, and stuff. So it's just a matter of trying to leverage this thing for everyone, even Busa. You know, some of these things, it's illegal, yes, but it's our African brew. So when we are talking about culture, we're like, let's preserve our African brew, the Busa. Then again, we say it's illegal. Why? Because we need to sell beer in a bottle. And that is the same thing that's happening with the film industry. Yes, these people are pirating, but isn't that the way to reach people in my home area? I keep saying people in my home area because I didn't grow up in the city. I grew up in the countryside, in Homa Bay town. How do I make my people be able to access this film? DVDs is the only way. How can I make it like I can be able to supply 1,000 DVDs in every county in this country? You get what I mean? On a minimum, 1,000 even per month. That is 47,000 DVDs. At 100 more, that's 4.7 million. Imagine. It pains me.
I like your calculation.
And that is on the minimum, by the way. So look at this 47 million. Even if we break it, like those guys, they take their half, 50%. By the time I get it, I only get my 10%. Imagine my 10% will still be like even 4 million. Imagine.
Awesome. So where do we start? Where do we start in terms of whether it's this conversation or it is this kind of thinking? Where does it start? You as a filmmaker, this kind of thought, who do you think would listen to that thought and make it come to fruition?
The person who will listen to this thought does not exist yet. We need perhaps, do I call it one umbrella for all these guilds and associations that we have. We have got so many film associations and guilds and all, but as a member of some of them, I don't even know what they do. Yeah, and this one, let's not talk about what's written in the missions and vision and aims. What I'm asking is, at the end of the year, what can we say they have done? That to me is what, like, I don't know what they do, because I look at, I don't even want to give names, but all the three that I am in, at the end of the year, I have not seen even the trainings that they have done, the empowerment forums that they have created. I've not seen even get together activities where like people just come to know each other as members of one guild, as members of one association. We can't wait for problems to be able to hear the name of an association. An association, like the name, it's supposed to be able to bring people together. So who can do that? I don't know. Maybe we need a federation of filmmakers associations to do that for us, because I don't think this is about government. I think sometimes we give government too much obligation. Yeah. This is where that kind of federation needs to talk to government. But as it is, the many 100 guilds who are not speaking in one voice make it very hard. Yeah.
So one thinking that has struck me about what you've talked about is that idea of buying a full roll of cloth. We have so many films that you know have been you know hitting the market. And everyone is excited that our films are now on Netflix.
Yeah.
There are others on Showmax. There are My Movies Africa, the VODs. There is, I think, Movie Mtaani. Now movies are starting to get out there.
Yeah.
But the question is, are filmmakers taking that cue of buying a full roll of cloth, or are we having one good film this year and then we talk about it for the next 10 years?
We have got two groups. We have got the ones who are doing, I think, a film almost every year, or even two per year. And then we have got the ones who are perfectionists. Yet I keep saying there's no perfectionist. There's no perfectionism in art. The ones who are trying to be perfectionists, they'll tell you they've done a script for a year, then they did production planning for a year, then they fundraised, so they end up doing one film every 5 years. But to make this industry change and to grow faster, every filmmaker, every serious filmmaker or producer needs to have a film every 1 year or at most every 2 years, because I mean things can happen and marketing and stuff. Every 2 years at least. That way, if we have got like 20 producers, then we can be sure that we have got 20, we are talking about high-end films. We are talking about having 20 good quality, cinema quality films every year. Because we have got 3 levels of production. We have got very high-end. Then we have got the middle level, of which the middle level are the ones who grow the industry. They will rarely win an award, but trust me, the audience identifies with them the most. They are now the River Road filmmakers. These Kikuyu films, the Luo films, guys buy them so much. And those guys do a movie every 2 or 3 months. And those are the people who need to be even more empowered. So we have to be at that level where we know this is where the industry is going to. Yeah.
We have government agencies, KFCB, we have KFC,
yeah,
that are in place, and they are mandated to do various things, including promotion of the industry activities.
Yes.
So, are they, in your opinion, as a producer, as a filmmaker, are they, in your opinion, playing their roles as they should be? And if not, what do they need to do to get to that level of the filmmaker, where at least everyone goes home smiling?
About the Kenya Film Classification Board, their mandate is to classify and license, and beyond that, I will leave it to them to decide what they're doing. The Kenya Film Commission, I think since last year, a lot has happened. To be very honest, we can say since independence, the film industry has seen change. For the first time, filmmakers are having an empowerment fund. For the first time, filmmakers are having hubs being created in almost every county. I think right now they've reached like 10 hubs within 1 year. That's progress. And when I look at this, I ask myself, why wasn't this happening before? We are how many years after independence? Is it 55 years after independence? Why hasn't this happened before? What was happening? So yes, I think the current CEO of the Kenya Film Commission has opened our eyes to so many things, that yes, it's possible. Yes, the industry can grow. We are not where we really would have wanted to be right now, I mean 55 years later. But I think what we have seen in the last 2 years has motivated quite a lot of filmmakers, both young and old, having that hope that this industry, someone can make a career out of it. Yeah. Yes, I think the government is trying, but I wish that other stakeholders and other, apart from the Kenya Film Commission, I wish that other ministries could be able to embrace film as a very heavy component. Let's look at something like the mining industry. Why can the mining industry invest to work with filmmakers to create a film about that? This industry for livestock and water, those are stories that need to be told. You get what I mean? How are we tapping water, forestry? Every ministry in this country needs to look at film as a way of empowering itself and even reaching the other citizens. if I watch a film that is sponsored by, which is the ministry that we even rarely hear of?
Ministry of, I think the least corrupt, which I don't know.
Yes.
Ministry of Cooperative Development.
But that's a perfect ministry. Look at the Ministry of Cooperative Development. How many SMEs do we have in this country?
So many.
How many stories can we get of a woman or a man or a young person who has been empowered through an SME? Because the story that sells a lot is somebody who is poor in the slums being empowered by a white person, then makes it in life. What about if we change that narrative and we say, here is a young person who went to these cooperative groups and got loans and made business and became rich and created an industry? You get it? It's the same story done differently. And those cooperatives, people will be able to say, oh, it's that cooperative that did that to this person. It is that SME that empowered this person. It is advertising, it is empowering, and it is still using film. Yes.
Okay. So now, film is a business.
Yes.
Film is a business, and as you said,
John Karanja says film is serious business.
Serious business. I'll go to Jerry and look for this very good gentleman. We've been talking about that,
Yeah.
and I'll go and look for him. So film is serious business, and sometime back I was speaking to my friend, I don't know if you know Elisha Otieno,
Yes.
and he told me he's creating a film village, in Siaya.
Yes.
So in terms of investment, apart from government, which does regulatory work,
Yeah.
and maybe just a few, things about empowerment, promotion, and all that, which kind of investors do we need, and specifically, that can come either from the private sector or the other non-government actors? Who can we attract, and how do we get to them?
I think we need marketers to be able to be the in-between, or should I call it negotiators or something for the industry. The fixers, somebody who knows this is the strategic plan for all these big organizations, or even the small organizations who can come together and be able to tell a filmmaker, this year, this is the story that's running, and these people are having this story running for 3 years, so can you make a film about that? And we're not talking about documentaries yet. Documentaries are beautiful. However, we know that feature films and fiction sells more. So if we can find that true story and turn it into fiction, then people can laugh about it while they learn from it. I think that would be beautiful. But people we need is not ATA investors. Investors are there. Problem is they don't even understand what we do. Same way we also don't even understand what they do.
So my question, and this is something would like to understand from, we straddle different industries.
Yeah.
We have like the music sector.
Yes.
And the music sector, I don't know if it is those marketers you're talking about, they
Yes.
have or what,
Yes.
because the music sector seems to be getting it right.
Yeah.
Why? Because, they have like now, the Nairobi Jazz Festival is now sponsored by a very big corporate.
Yes.
Look at like, Coke Studio. We've seen Coca-Cola Pop Stars. We've seen Tusker Project Fame.
Yeah. And even the events, leave alone
Yes.
even those major ones, even just the events
Even
that the Christmas events,
Exactly.
April events, monthly events. Yeah.
Yes. So the music industry seems to be getting it right on
Yeah.
that part. What is it about film that is not attracting these people? Because what is it about film that is not attracting them?
One, we are not making enough films to sell and to keep the audience going to the cinemas every day. On the minimum, we need to release 24 cinema films to keep an audience going to the cinemas. Because let's say if you love films that much, it means you go to the films every weekend or every other weekend. So if you need to watch a film, different one, it means we need to have 24 Kenyan films in the cinemas.
Sure.
Last year, we only had 11, and that was the highest ever I have seen, because I really watch films. I watch almost every film or every theater play in this country. I think it's not an issue of it if somebody is my friend or not. It is my duty as a performing artist and as a filmmaker to watch everything. I can't say my film is the best when I have not watched other people's. Yeah, you can only create something better if you watch for the other people. So I think the music industry, they have looked at their work as a business. And it's time we also started looking at our work as business. There's something that I've found quite a number of producers and notable producers saying, even to younger artists, which I do not like, telling people, do not put your own money into the film. I'm like, who needs to? You have to put, as in when you open a business, even hata kama ni ya kuuza mboga, you put your money in it. How comes in film you don't want to put your money in it? As a filmmaker, you have to put in your money so that you can work hard to get it back. But if you do not put your money, so that you say, never put your money in your film. Talk to other people, investors and stuff. I'm like, put your money first. Then talk to investors to come in. That way, you are all equal shareholders and you'll push in it. It is not a talent or a hobby. This is a business. And we have to approach it in that same aspect. Yes.
Okay. Considering the subject of the day, because we will still get back here. We will still get back here to talk about the other dimensions of Zippy as you know, a teacher of film.
Yes.
And Zippy as the theater performer. Zippy the author. Hey, where? Zippy.
I am an artist. I think that one covers everything.
An artist with an E.
With an E. Artist.
So to conclude today's episode, what would you tell that young producer, well, young or old, that producer who wants to venture,
just starting,
who wants to you know, put their feet in the fire? What would you tell them if they are afraid of you know, putting their feet in the fire? What would you want to tell them today?
If you're too scared, quit. Yeah, if you're too scared to do it, quit. This is not for you, because this industry is not for the scared. You'll enter into depression. That is the reality. So the thing is this: if you want to start this thing, brave it and start. Don't start alone. Start with people. Get your nearest friends and do this thing together. I always say, performing arts is an ensemble in every way. You can't do it alone. Even when you are the only one on stage, there's somebody the other side trying to fix the stage, the costume, the set and all. So don't do it alone. Even when it comes to fundraising, don't do it alone. Work together with other people, collaborate, continue creating. And then very rarely does everybody make it the first time. So don't lose hope when you trip the first time. It may not come out well. It may not get the audience that you think it deserves. And art is very funny. Sometimes the best of artwork does not get the level of audience reception it deserves. And that's just what it is. That's why it's called art, because it's about creativity. You can never tell what the audience like. But one thing I know that the audiences all over love is romantic drama and comedy drama.
Mapenzi.
Mapenzi, because they relate to it.
You've mentioned something, and I don't want you to go away without telling us this. You did your film, because we've talked about all the positive stuff, all the bells and whistles, how happy a process it was. But what were the difficulties that you went through in the making of
Midlife Crisis?
Midlife Crisis.
Hey, let me tell you. First and foremost, I think being able to get partners who came in, you know, like you've already decided that this is when I'm shooting, you've locked in the actors and even the crew, but you still don't have enough money. Getting these partners, I think I am lucky that like 2 weeks, 3 weeks to the shoot, I locked the partners that I needed. one of the main actresses quitting on us. Is it a day or 2 days too?
Wow, okay.
Yes. Yes. And you know what that is. And I am a planner. Like when I say we are going to shoot in 2 days, it means these people had the script 2 months before. 2 months before we've had read-throughs and stuff. And then they quit on us. Reasons, we will let that rest. That is one. Getting even some of the locations were not locked. By the time we were starting to shoot, the hospital that told us that they are going to give us that venue quit on us. Oh God! You know, it was like, oh, the director has said blah blah, nice story. We were like, it's okay. As in, you know, it was like, yes, things happen. But we got another hospital, and we shot the lovely film. Then again, when we were just about to premiere, lockdown. Corona. You know, we had decided we were going to premiere on 28th of March. And then on 17th, the president says it's locked.
The country is on lockdown.
Yes. No movement, no gatherings, no nothing. You know, I was like, you have paid for venue, you have God. It was, you know, it's like the way, for me, let me say, as the biggest investor of this film, I think if it was not for some things, I think I could have gone into deep depression. Yes, I went into stress, a light depression, but I think we recovered. Because this is the one thing, I had decided this time. I decided to invest even in marketing and everything. I said, this one is my baby. And you know, your first baby, you go to every clinic and do every vaccine.
Exactly, and you go and take a baby bump shot.
That is not everything. This was my first baby, my dear. Even when they bump you, were like, oh, baby. I was like, I want to do the best. Just be sure so that no matter what happens, like I put everything. But, yeah, the country was locked down. We did a short film about that, my crisis short film. And here we are. The beautiful film was launched on 14th of November, and it's in the cinemas. And we have 12 nominations for the Kalasha Film and TV Awards. And for me, I look back at all those challenges and I say, I think they were worth it. They were worth it, yeah, yes.
All right. I think that was, as I started by saying, I hope I have maintained enough discipline in front of my teacher. And I think this has been production 101. This has been production 101.
Yeah.
We will have another sit down.
For performance 101.
Yes, for performance 101. We will sit down again for performance 101.
Yeah.
And, you know, to understand, you know, even Zippy, the artist.
Yeah.
Why it's not Dr. Zipporah Agatha Okoth. It's Zippy.
That's for checks. For checks, kindly make it Dr. Zipporah Agatha Okoth. But in the field, it's Dr. Zippy Okoth. Though right now, my name, Dr. Zippy Okoth, it's how do you call it?
It's a brand.
It's a brand. It's a brand. Hata check ikiandikwa, I have affidavit. My bank knows it's me. There is just one and only Dr. Zippy Okoth.
As you write those checks, please don't forget to download the Star Times app and vote for
Midlife Crisis.
Midlife Crisis. They have been nominated in 12 categories.
Yes.
Don't forget to vote for them. Please vote for them. It's going to Eldoret.
It's going to Eldoret, Kisumu, Mombasa, and it's showing in all the cinemas in Nairobi, Anga, Prestige, and Motions at Greenspan. Yes.
Awesome.
So
it's currently running.
It's currently running as we're talking.
Sawa.
Yeah.
So catch that film, and thank you very much for giving us a beautiful first episode of Dr. Zippy and Production 101.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for hosting me too.
All right. So Wana Cinema Corner, keep watching, watch the other content. We have Bilal Mwaura there. We'll come with episode 2, and stay tuned also for Jere Muli, the producer of Pasua, Nganya, and Classmates. He'll also be showing up on your screens in the coming week. So thank you very much, and ciao.